Hey guys, welcome back. It's been a long time since I've made a video, so I'm actually excited about this one. I picked up a Arrma Typhon TLR Roller. I've been wanting this for a while. However, not to be a Typhon TLR Roller. One of my favorite Arrma RCs was the Senton 6S, which you know was discontinued in 2018. In years past, I had taken a V2 Senton and bought all the parts of the Senton to make it into a short course Senton. So I've been ordering all the parts for the Senton 6S since Horizon Hobby now has all the parts again, from the body to the bumpers to the cage to the body posts, which everybody thought you couldn't get, but they are still available. I don't understand why Arrma discontinued the Senton 6S, because it is based off the Typhon and shares a lot of stuff with it, and they could have easily just kept it in production. By far, it's one of my favorite Arrma vehicles. So what my intentions are with this TLR tuned Typhon is to make a TLR tuned Senton, basically into one of these. This one right here is the one I bought brand new, and basically, since it was discontinued, I pretty much don't use it, as it sits here brand new. So I decided to buy another one. So I bought another one, which this one, when I got it, also was in extremely mint original condition. Both of these trucks have never been used in the dirt or mud or sand. They were only on the street. So that's how they stayed so mint. So what I decided to do was, like I said, buy all the pieces: bumpers, cage mount, arms, Nerf bars, everything. With the exception, I am not going to change over that Typhon to the shorter arms. I'm going to leave it as the wider stance. So I'm not going to use these arms. You also have to get the axles if you want to put these in. So that's what my intentions are, is to start a TLR Senton 6S build. Something that Arrma probably should have been making already. Okay, we'll start the build. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is remove the rear wing and wing mount off of the Typhon and get ready to start mounting up the body post. Now, this is on the last Typhon that I made and converted. I also bought the Senton 6S shock towers, which these body mounts are meant for. These, I already know, are not going to fit onto these shock towers, so some creative fabricating is going to have to be in place. If you're doing what I'm doing, making the TLR towers, they gotta stay, because you have the adjustable points of them along with the changeable pills. So you can't switch this over to the Senton 6S towers. Not to mention, it puts them on a whole different geometry. So I basically want to retain the geometry of the suspension of the Typhon, but changed into a short course truck. So, all right, I'm going to start taking off this wing. One thing to note, so when you're taking off the wing mount, the body mounts fortunately come with these brackets, so that they can go back on to attach the tower to your chassis brace. Pretty good that it comes with it, because it comes part of the package. So they're going to go right there. And as you can see, I've already removed the Typhon body mounts. Okay guys, now for the rear shock tower modification for the body mount. So basically, I had to take material off of the shock tower here and here and grind it down here to get it to fit the profile of the stock Senton plastic body post. Not to mention, you can see where I grinded away I had to grind away this. It had an upper lip coming this way. You have to grind that away. Now the good part about this is, ironically, this shock tower, when it fit into here, these two holes line up with the two holes in the shock tower to mount the shock tower to the body post. Now, what I did was I took the two screws from the Typhon body mount, and I use these. You'll see I'm going to put in here to mount the body post onto the shock tower, but it lines right up. The shock standoff stud came out of this hole. That does not, it just misses this hole, so, or this one, so it just misses it, so you have to drill it out. So next I'm mounting up the rear bumper. So what I did was I took the rear bumper off of one of my trucks, because I will just, I'm going to be driving this one, so I may as well put a used one on it, only be scraped up. So the brand new one that I bought is only going to be replaced on one of my trucks that are still new. So the bumper came off of the original Senton. Take out these two screws out of the hinge pin carrier, and if you notice, it locks right in perfectly, with the exception of these are the two screws that came out of the Typhon. Here's the two screws that came out of the Senton. They have to be longer. They have to be longer to reach through the plastic. So you got to put these aside, and you got to use these from the Senton, or you have to get longer ones. Okay, mounting up the rear bumper now. Also, there's the body post already in position and on. Okay, so the front body post to mount onto the shock tower took a little bit more creative grinding. I had to take the last two holes off of the tower. Now the kit came installed, the shocks were installed on the third, the middle. So now you can go down two, but you don't have the upper two, which these shocks are still stood up more than the Senton 6S anyway. So now on the body post, I had to take away and grind away all that. Now again, ironically, the holes that these were mounted in, the shock standoffs, were mounted in the middle. They actually line right up with the two holes which are going to hold the body mount on. So I'm actually going to use the stud to thread through the shock tower right into the body post, and we'll see if that works. So let's give that a try. Okay, so ran into another little hiccup here. This little piece that your front bumper support mounts to, on the back, I had to take a razor knife and just snip off the very end of these so that it will fit inside there, and it actually is going to line right up and sandwich between that tower, and the screw will go right through and bolt right to it. And here is the finished rolling chassis before I put the electronics in it. Another thing I changed during the video here is I did not like how the shock standoffs were actually, how much of this nut grabbed onto that stud because of the plastic thickness from the body mount. So I had to switch to the stock Arrma 6S trucks and cars shock standoffs. Unfortunately, can't use those with this, but I figured I'd mention this also in this video. Okay, so again, a recap on the TLR Typhon to a Senton 6S conversion. Basically, you have to buy the front and rear bumpers, the body post, the Nerf bars, and the cage. I left the Typhon arms so it has a wider stance. Power Hobby belted Defender tires. The rear bumper basically goes right on, but you have to use the longer screws from a Senton to go through the plastic bumper and the TLR aluminum hinge carrier. The rear shock tower needed a little bit of modification on the top edge to grind it down, as well as the body post to make the body post bolt right onto the shock tower, but it was fairly easy. The front was a little bit more involved. You had to actually take quite a bit of material off the shock tower. The shocks are still in the exact same location that the Typhon had, but I removed the upper two holes to get the body mount post of the Senton to get onto that shock tower. The front bumper basically goes right on, but that other little bracket that's underneath those two screws right here, that plate, if you will, screws into the diff housing, and also on the back side I had to chop off two little tabs to make it go inside of the shock tower, which gets sandwiched between the posts. You can see by the screw right there. Other than that, the electronics is out of my Mojave, because I plan on putting bigger electronics in the Mojave, so I took all the electronics out of it. DS3225 servo, aluminum heatsink, Power Hobby aluminum heatsink and fan, and not in this picture, but I also have the Dusty Motors cover to cover the whole cage so it doesn't load up with debris inside the truck. But anyways, it's going to be interesting to drive this truck. I've been waiting a long time to build one of these and finally did it. I did this so I won't have to wreck my new original Senton 6S that I bought, because they're discontinued. Plus this having a lot better chassis, shock towers, and a lot of other adjustments to this truck. Should be a fun truck. Again, this is a truck that Arrma should be making. We don't understand why, but maybe it's coming. But if you want a Senton, it's still, you can do it, because Horizon Hobby has all the Senton 6S parts, including tires and arms and bumpers and cage, even the body. So anyways, that's the build of my TLR Senton 6S. Hopefully Arrma's watching this. Should start making these. And there is the finished product. The Senton TLR. This was a fun build. I can't wait to drive it.